We are recording and ready when you're ready to go.
Anyways, so I guess the two items I thought we could talk about tonight, and we could plan after for what else we want to look at. But as a communication, it would be time to reflect on how unique situation that I thought it would be good to see what direction we want to go from there.
You broke up in and out of there, but Jackie, for the first item is to do some reflecting on the communication during the COVID crisis time because of the uniqueness of the situation. Did that summarize what you said? Awesome. Yep, Jackie, you're lost. You're still on, you're still connected, but we can't hear anything you're saying.
Okay.
Welcome to board, Bob. So why don't I go ahead and just take this to get started, and we'll chat from there. So anyone just looking for some reflection that we've heard or things you'd like to share about the communications as it's happened during this whole COVID closure times, the good things we've heard, and the areas of improvement where we think we could have done better. Any thoughts, anyone?
I think just from my it was nice to be able to have, like, you know, if we were outside or something, that multi-channel kind of approach. So if you missed the phone call for whatever reason, you got an email, maybe a text, and I think, you know, I mean, it's good that we use the system, and I think hopefully it's going to get people more used to receiving information kind of that way. I think the only thing I would have said is, you know, I mean, it's not like school business didn't continue happening. So maybe to have like the board meetings or any other types of those meetings communicated through the same system might have been a good idea as well.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Who else?
I guess I would echo Dan's comments on the multi-channel approach. I think that makes a lot of sense. And the other piece I think is that you know, we did receive some pretty good feedback. A couple of people, one or two people in meetings commenting on the communication. I think that was had met their needs. There were a couple other people who had expressed that they actually really liked. I got a fair bit of feedback on Ms. Vieira's Friday videos. They were a little different than all the other communication in that they tried to kind of connect with people on an emotional level, and that was I think universally well received, the best I can tell. And I think that the absence of that in other places was noted. And I think some people don't have that need or didn't notice it or didn't care, but that was something that had come up in a couple conversations. actually haven't seen the last one, but pretty regularly there was kind of a little bit of a fan base following there for Ms. Vieira's Friday videos. And they were, they were informative, but then they were also really trying to connect on an emotional level with the community as well. And I think that was well received.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Anyone else? Any other ideas?
I'm back.
Welcome back, Jackie.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear now.
Okay. Sorry about that.
As long as you're sorry, it's okay.
So I guess, did everyone share their just did everyone share how they felt about the communication during this, or?
So Dan shared, and I shared. Maybe the superintendent, who's taking some notes, maybe he can recap that for you.
Yep. Both Dan started and Bob agreed with the multi-channeled approach being helpful to there. And Dan had thought that the idea that, because regular business had kind of continued during the COVID thing, that those items could have been communicated to, things like board meetings. And with Bob's addition to that initial idea was citing some good feedback on receiving some good feedback on the communication, but really highlighted Ms. Vieira's work in the video and how that helped to make a broader connection to the community on an emotional level as well. And had noted that some folks had mentioned that hadn't been included in other approaches to communication. And then it was noted that it wasn't included in some of those other modes.
Okay. Great. Does Karen or Liz, do you guys want to share it all, or?
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you even hear me?
I can hear you.
We got you a little bit, Liz. Although I just heard the hello, and can you hear me?
I think that was Liz, right?
I believe you're right.
Yep. So Karen, I guess maybe Liz is having a little trouble. Karen, do you want to share anything?
I would just say that in general, I think it was a really positive, what I've heard from people about getting things via text. I've had a couple of people wonder maybe if things could have been done through email as well. And I think that maybe it doesn't pertain as closely to this group, but I think that a lot of people were a little bit frustrated with the inconsistency of communication, maybe from specific grade levels or, groups within the school. Does that make sense?
So you mean like teachers or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think part of that was just because it was obviously the circumstances, but maybe we're looking for more, kind of more streamlined communication, either if it was, weekly email or message put out to a group, because I think the inconsistency through some people.
Yeah.
Great. Hi, Naomi. We see you, by the way.
Hi.
There's only a few of us that see you. Most folks are on the phone.
Okay.
Naomi, do you want to share any of your thoughts or feedback on our the communication of our school during this crazy time?
I thought that Dr. Glover did a great job just doing weekly updates and letting everybody know what was going on. It was religious on like Sundays, and people really looked forward to them. You know, we knew that the phone call was coming in. I'm signed. I'm not a parent, so I'm signed up through the community aspect of it, and I get the emails, but I don't get text messages.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, a lot of the teachers were good. I felt like everything went really smooth, honestly.
Great. I'll share. So I guess like as far as the academic piece with my two boys, the teachers were amazing. And I was pretty well informed with them. And I would agree with Naomi, the weekly robocall, so to speak, was well received as far as I was talking to people and for ourselves. I know it was nice to get that. I thought what I really liked, and I don't know if it's much of the communication piece, but the bus route, I thought that was pretty handy. I just know like the boys got a lot of their work or projects. I know Mrs. Rogers for Lucas would send home science projects. So I thought that was a good way to distribute without, cost of mailing items. Yeah, I guess the one part, I'm just trying to, I was thinking about this earlier. The only part that I'm I know Karen did a great job sending a letter home, I think it was last week. Just a little unclear about report cards. And I know I asked the fourth grade teachers, but I'm just curious how they might look with the younger kids. It's all standard based, whether they are below, not reaching standard at grade level or achieved it or exceeding, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess that part people might be a little confused about.
Is that, would you say that's for the high school or in general?
No, I mean, I think in general, I don't have any high school students, so
Okay.
I'm not sure about that. I'm just thinking like my two boys, just me being a teacher, like we're doing it a little different, I think, in Granville, which is not better or worse. I'm just curious. I feel like I don't have a good understanding of how the boys are going to be assessed.
So something like a blank example of what one might look like would be helpful.
Yeah, or just, I mean, is it still going to be standard based? Is it going to be like a pass and incomplete? Is it just comment based report cards? I'm just unsure of how that might look. So
For immediate kind of cessation to that, for the elementary level, it is going to a kind of a three-tiered approach. And I just had it on my desk there, but it's like it's a NOSCAR. It has tiers including to what level of mastery they'd have with the content and how they covered it based on standard. And the standards will be specific to where they are. It's also going to include, what the teacher for next year is and grade level and all those pieces to it. But there's a large space for commentary from the teacher. So it's going to say, here's, overall for this year, here's how your child did. So it's not specifically to fourth grade, but it's here's what your child did for the whole year. And then commentary underneath that from the teacher about, ideally about here's what you did well, here's where things we're going to need to work on for next year. And kind of some of the standard, great to have them, have a great summer, rest up, we'll see you in September type stuff.
Yeah, and just stated, like, I mean, we have had nothing but positive, like they always put, I feel like their heart and soul into the comment part of the report card. Our experience thus far through fourth grade, they do a great job with that. I'm just curious how that looks.
Okay. Well, that's We have a
I
template.
don't know if other people, I might have missed it. I mean, Karen sent home that letter and I read it, but I still feel like I don't have a clear understanding. So
It's, I'm thinking, because we have the blank template, at least for the elementary side of things. High school's still gonna look traditional, but the weighting's gonna work a little different in there, but I'll talk with the principals about getting out something so folks can see of, this is what your fourth marking period report card's gonna look like.
yeah, I mean, and not like a mailing, maybe just like maybe on our Facebook page or, something like that.
Yep. Can do.
All right, thanks. Any other comments about this? Okay. So, I mean, does that, Bob, I don't know if you want to add anything as far as, I thought we'd covered the communications during the COVID-19, and then I thought we would discuss our website. Is there anything else you want to discuss tonight?
Maybe just, anything we might want to be thinking about for our next meeting, I guess, kind of what our next task will be.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, I think I stated that, but I might have froze or gotten disconnected earlier, but yeah. So, all right. So I guess like our website.
So, I have, Amy sent me the link, which I'll put up here on the screen for everyone to see. Of course, you who called in won't be able to see it. Those of you who are on the committee, I just hit the email button. I hope the email was done to you, but it does have the link. So you can see the progress. It isn't live yet, but this is the work that has been going on the web page. Just 1 second and I'll pop it up here on the screen for those who are in. Okay, everyone seeing a web page and not my messy desktop. So this is where we are. I got to give Amy some props here because she's been worked to the bone by us and other districts since before March 15th. Because every time we needed to get a communication piece out, a lot of it went through Amy. And so, and Amy's work not only helping us get our messages out on whatever we were going through to make sure our community was informed. We were also being mindful of keeping there is still schoolwork going on. This isn't summer vacation. And so trying to maintain that message all the way through of here's the things that are happening remotely. Here's the things teachers are doing. Here's the things that kids are doing. And maintaining that message out that work continues as we go through, not only for our own social media and our webpage and in our communication forums, but also with other organizations. For example, Frank Fraunhofer got recognized on the state website about working through the work that he was doing. His kids got a mention on was it the Facebook page, Amy, or was it their Twitter page?
I saw it on their Facebook page. They picked it up off the Salem page. I did send it to them as well. They had been tweeting things, but I didn't see it on Twitter. It doesn't mean it didn't happen, but yeah, they picked it up from Facebook in the email I sent to them.
Okay, great. So because we've basically been in emergency crisis mode solidly from mid-March, probably until things didn't start to calm down until late April, early May. Things started to calm down for a little bit. That we start thinking about doing some of those things going back to normal. and finishing things up for the rest of the school year. And it's had an impact on a bunch of things, and which included the website too there. So with that, this is homepage. It isn't 100% yet, but I think it hits a lot of the benchmarks we wanted to hit. Those ideas of it not being terribly clicky from the homepage. We're going to go and meet the board, and you can see that Bob is currently the only person who has a picture. It's there. So it's one click, and then you're to the information, which is what we were looking for. Through all the departments, the drop downs aren't overbearing. If we have the parent portal link, it jumps to that page, automatically. And I hope I just lost it. Okay, Bob, are you seeing the web page again?
Yep.
Okay. For there, so this work here continues. I know, Amy, if you want to fill in the work you're doing with Blackboard or anyone else, I'll let you tell that part of it.
Okay. So we definitely have to be live by June 30th, which, as everybody knows, was not our original goal. We wanted to be live much sooner than that. However, though, I'm coordinating with Blackboard, and the goal will be the week of June 23rd. I think that's a Tuesday, so it'd be the week of June 22nd. So we'll have to cut over from School Messenger. And then we will be live. The other thing too is it didn't make sense. Even if it was possible to get all of the work done, I don't think during the pandemic it would have been a good thing to throw another new thing at people. And I also know there's some teachers like Mr. Fraunhofer who actually use his teacher's website to teach his class. So, we definitely want to wait until after classes are done as well. Don't need to throw one more thing.
Well, I mean, I
Anyone have
find it, I'm on the link now, and I find it 100 times better on your mobile device versus our current website.
Good.
So.
Okay. Well, good. And just so that you guys have an understanding too, so it does have to be live before June 30th. So there still may be some things after the pages are, I have to go in and recreate each page from the current website. So we're going to get at a point where I need to just get it moved over. There might be some remapping that needs to be done after the fact. But the goal is to not have to, but just so that there's an awareness that, because we don't want to lose the information that's on the current site come June 30th.
Do we want to kind of, promote this as far as like posting on Facebook when we do go live, as well as maybe using the robocall, like check out our new, when it does, like
Yep,
the night
definitely.
before or something like that, just so people are aware?
I think what we should have first is what's called a soft opening, because I want to make sure, I think we should make sure that the teachers are able to access it, or give the teachers a heads up, maybe an email or something ahead of time to get any feedback from them first, because they're using it, they're a customer using it as well. Just an idea.
Yeah, no, have they been,
They're gonna have
like,
to,
so
they're
they're,
gonna have to be trained on it too. The last thing anybody wants is you go to the website and you're gonna go to your teacher's page and go, what the heck just happened? Because I've had that happen with me in other districts with websites. I didn't even know they were switching, and then I went to post something and I went, oh.
yeah.
So we don't want to do that with teachers either.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just assumed that the teachers were already informed and that they would have already either transferred or in the process of that.
Oh, they know that it's happening. But I know myself in Blackboard, I have to move their pages. They can't move their own page.
Okay. I just, okay.
Yeah.
Did you still have a question? They'll need to be able to, particularly for like the teacher resources to get into, I don't know if you guys use School Tool, but all the teacher resources, that's only going to be visible to them. So we want them to be able to access the tools that they need. They won't be visible to the public, but they will need a login to get those things.
Yep.
Jackie, do you remember? I don't know how the Granville website is now, but you had to sign in to the old Blackboard one, and as far as the teacher resources, you only saw it when you signed in. That's what I'm speaking about.
Yep. No, I understand that. I just thought that they would have already. I thought that would have already kind of been in the process of, you know what I mean? Of them being aware of it.
They're aware it's happening.
Uh-huh.
They're aware. Yeah, Dr. Glover had sent out an email, gosh, ages ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jackie, the first part of the upfront process was we let them know it was coming and then started talking to folks about what they had stored or they had used on that webpage so they could move it so they didn't lose it. So the work and the content side of the pieces, the teachers knew and were aware about, but we're moving, the part that Amy's talking about moving is like the background. So, you know, if the webpage itself was a tree and the teacher's content are the leaves on it, she's moving trees. The teachers are putting leaves on them. So what we're trying to do is try to transplant the full tree with the leaves on it. So the teacher stays, and then we'll train them how to do the new system, and then they'll have the information they'll be able to manipulate. That's work that would have happened, honestly, probably through March, April, May, and June.
Right.
We, you know, not been through what we've been through.
Right. That's a really good analogy because actually the teacher pages and the library are one of the last things that I want to move, because as I'm working behind the scenes on the new website and teachers are adding things to their teacher page, those things aren't going to cut over. Like, let's say June 1st, I say, oh, I rebuilt Mr. Fraunhofer's page. And June 10th, he has a whole bunch of new stuff that I don't know that he's done. So that's why it's actually kind of good that this isn't occurring until instruction is over.
Yeah, I guess I just was confused because I thought we were going live with it in the end of March. I thought was our original way back. So I thought all that was happening prior to that. That's what
It was. And then COVID hit.
No, I understand that. I was just confused about the timing of it because I thought we were going live at the end of March. So I thought all that stuff would be done this winter. But I understand.
Yeah. So Jackie, you thought that the teacher training was going to happen before the page was live.
Yeah, that's what I was under that. So that I'm just confused on that, but that's fine now that it's clear.
I have a couple quick questions. Under clubs and activities, there's a whole bunch of pages that come up there, and obviously they haven't been populated yet. But it says that this page is either inactive or protected. I'm assuming that will there be something there? So will there be something that's public facing there for people who are not logged in, or will there be what will that end up looking like when we go live? Or not necessarily when we go live, but when it's when we're at 100%.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I cannot see this because my modem died, so that's why I'm dialed in. But I think what you're seeing, it sounds like what you're describing is you're getting that message because there's nothing populated on that page yet.
So that looked like that was definitely one of the possibilities. That was my first assumption, although I guess it also says it could be protected. My feedback was going to be, it'd make a lot of sense to not have have links that come up with nothing because they're protected, right? It'd be better to just have all that behind a password. If there's stuff that you have to
Right.
be, that is protected, then people don't even need to know about it, right? Because it looks
Exactly.
unfinished. If people are clicking around looking at some stuff to think, oh, here's some cool stuff, oh, that's, and if it's protected, then, and that same, sorry, go ahead.
Right, right, and that part is unfinished. But to give another example, for example, the teacher resource pages, like the general public who cannot access those pages, they won't know that those pages even exist. You have to be logged in to see those.
Yep, perfect.
Do the same stuff with board packets. And it's kind of the reverse. I don't remember.
It should be available to the public.
Right, those would, okay. So anything we don't want available to the public, we make it, you have to be signed in and it's hidden. It's kind of the opposite. In the olden days with websites, you'd have to have a password to access this, and it's kind of determined to be rude. So this, people don't even know what they're missing because they don't see it to begin with.
Yeah, no, that's better. That's definitely better than going to a page that either looks like it's unpopulated or protected, so you're not sure which.
Right. No, I unfortunately, my modem died this afternoon, so I can't see what you're looking at, but I'm envisioning it's just a page not populated yet.
Yeah, I suspect. The other question I had, so on the board stuff, I think all of that would just be handled by board docs, right? So that there's executive content, but a lot of that by law needs to be available. And I think that would just go to, probably going to be a link somewhere.
Yep.
To get to board docs.
Exactly.
Yep. Now, like under the, where is it? Under the, the board, where was it? I guess I just got a little confused here because I was in the high school site. One thing I think we did talk about was not referring to the junior high school as Washington Academy, but referring, historically we've thought of the whole deal as being Washington Academy. I see in one spot it's referred to as the junior high school down in the bottom, junior, senior high school, and then another spot it is referred to as Salem Washington Academy for the junior high, senior high school. So, but I think we talked about that.
Actually, we did. What I did is I took your suggestion and I named, because I think you talked about referring to even the elementary school. The school as a whole is Salem Washington Academy. So I changed all of
historically been the case.
Yes. So I changed all of the subsites to say that. And then I had somebody else look at the website, just somebody that didn't know about that conversation, and it was on purpose. And they were confused as to which school they were on, whether it was elementary or high school.
So when it says select a school, it still says Salem Elementary School. Your two choices are Salem Elementary School or Washington Academy. And so that was probably a spot. And then also, if you're at a site, so I just got a little confused here. The only reason I suspected I was at the junior, senior high school spot was because there's a picture of Honor Society. I don't know whether there can be a banner that says Salem Central School District at the top. If it could say something that would allude to the fact that it's that I'm currently in the junior, senior high school spot.
Okay. I'll have to look at that. Unfortunately, right now I can't. But I will make a note of it. Yeah, great timing for a modem to die. About 5 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right. Life goes on. Well.
Does anyone else have any other comments?
Jackie, you might have mentioned that I was actually getting a page that I'm going to have to run on a call here in a minute. So about extending the question that you asked of all of us tonight to others. because I think at the end of the day, the question really, the fundamental question is, if we get some feedback that some people are very happy and think we've hit the ball out of the park, and we get some feedback from other people that we haven't hit the ball out of the park, are we just happy that some people felt we hit the ball out of the park and we're going to call it good and continue through life fat, dumb, and happy? Or do we actually want to get some feedback on, or just broaden that question a bit to see, how curious are we, I guess, about that? How curious do we think we should be?
I know my school did a survey kind of, I would say probably mid-May-ish, just asking about communications. And it was a quick Google form, nothing too fancy. So, I mean, I think they just helped. It was just a way to get feedback to see where they needed to go. I mean, any feedback is good feedback, whether it's, like you just said, if it's positive, great. If there's some, people that think we could have improved, that's awesome feedback, because, I'm sure the fall is going to bring some craziness. So, what do other people think about that?
This is Dan. I think it's always good to get some other people's opinion than, like 5 or 6 of us deciding the whole thing. But I do also, I think it's mobile friendly is a huge improvement. And I think it does look nice, even on the screen here too. So, and like any website, it's going to be a work in progress. So, I think as long as we keep track of those things, like Bob was talking about, that consistency of language and stuff, I think we'll do okay with it.
Awesome.
And I may not have been clear. I was referring not specifically to the website, but to the communication more over the past couple months.
I have a thought too. This is Karen. I wonder if we were to put out some kind of, Google form or whatever it may be, a questionnaire about the communication, if it makes sense to do that tied to, after the budget results come back, there's probably going to be some publication. People are probably going to be looking for those results. Might be a good time to catch more people, especially the community members, to see that we're looking for their feedback.
That's a great idea. Naomi or Liz?
I agree.
Got it.
So, Dave, do you think that would be a possibility? Like just a quick couple question survey?
Yep, I think so. I'm just from the hip, even if it's something as simple as a 5-star rating type thing. Like you would rate anything else that would come through for that type of feedback, and give folks a chance to kind of add comments in after it. Something like that work?
Yeah, and then maybe I'll send out an email if everybody maybe thinks about it overnight, and then I can just send out an email if anybody has any like maybe specific questions they want. I'm trying to, I can't think of the exact, I think there was only like 3 or 4 questions on the survey that we did, and it was very similar, like are you satisfied, unsatisfied, or a ranking of some sort. And then I think it was along the lines of how they received the information, and something like that. So maybe if we think about it, and then if we have anything specific, but I think that's a good place to start.
Okay. We'll see what we can find. Just if everyone's going to email Jackie and Jackie get that to me, or if Jackie wanted to send out the whole group email, and I'll just glean them in our conversation. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So now, does anyone else want to say anything, or where do we want to go from here with this, with our communications committee? I know prior, I think in our February meeting, we talked about our logo. And I think we all, I believe it was like Liz, Bob, and myself. Karen, were you there? I can't remember. I have to go back and look. But we talked about just using an S instead of, I know we went back and forth with how we want our general to look. And if we just kind of get rid of the general in our logo and just go with the S so we don't offend anybody? Do we want to look at that again?
I did ask our graphic designer, and again, when things with COVID hit, he got hit with other projects too.
Yep.
But I do know he is back on it. I actually saw him on video the other day when my modem was working. So he's aware, he knows what we want as far as the S. But we've also got another idea too. That I'm anxious to see it. It's the S, but on the upper left curve of the S, or it wouldn't be so much of a curve, it'll be more of it'd be a curve. We're gonna see what a tricorn hat looks like on it. Kind of tipped off to the side. So,
yep.
So some, that'll make it a little more unique and a little more specific to Salem.
Great.
So
we can just take a look at that, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other ideas or?
So one thing to keep in mind is that so I guess it depends when we meet next, because we'll reorganize the board in July. And if the writing campaign for Dan is successful, then the three of us won't be able to all be on. We want to have a quorum here. So I don't know whether we're going to meet before then or kind of what people's thoughts are. And we haven't determined when that reorganizational meeting will be. But
No.
anyway, just keep that in the back of our minds.
Gotcha. Should we plan to meet in July? I guess, should we talk about that now then? Or are there other suggestions where we could go with what we want to discuss?
Well, I guess one thing that will happen is that either the new president or the board will decide who's on this committee. So that it's not, like I said, it's 100% clear if everybody who's on it wants to stay on it. So I don't know. I think that throwing out some of these ideas makes sense. But if there's changes to the committee, then there could also be changes in that thought process. So maybe we don't want to spend loads of time on that. I think if we meet again though, I'm just looking at July. We have to reorganize by the 15th, Dave?
Yeah, we have to reorganize by the 15th of July. And then at that organizational meeting, the board can establish committees. At that reorganization meeting, they just won't have people on them until the board president chooses, who's on that, and usually that's been, okay, who wants to be on what committee? And then by choice. These two committees have been pretty solid. I would expect the board to maintain them through. But we are at a good spot for a handoff. We went through, we had some goals set for this year. It's in intent and purpose. We hit those marks, short of a COVID-19 kind of delaying a live launch there. And we have some good things for, whatever the next version of this committee looks like, whether it's the same folks or it's a little bit different on some next steps. So I think you would be okay if you were to say, okay, nice work, everybody, and wait for that organizational meeting and then shoot for late July or early August.
Okay, that sounds good. I think I mean, I'm hoping I stay on it. But just, I mean, I think we have whoever is on it next. I think we have a good, I mean, if we do a survey, maybe after our budget vote, we can look at, you know, the results of that, as well as maybe in July after the 15th, whenever we meet again, we can look at the logo, those two examples. So does that sound okay?
Yeah,
Will
sounds
we
good.
will we organize the survey through our Google Docs and emails, or?
I mean, I think Google Forms is a pretty quick, easy way, and I mean, unless Dave, you feel otherwise,
Yeah, we
to
have
get like quick results.
Yeah, we have a couple different platforms. We have the Google Docs that is of course available to us. We also do have a SurveyMonkey result that has some built-in feedback type features to it already. And if we end up saying yes, that 5-star thing is what we want to try, they may have something already pre-built that we just have to kind of populate the questions to. So I think the platform either way will get us the data we want to be able to do that. It's just, you know, I think, Naomi, to your question, it's, you know, let Jackie send out the email about, okay, so what questions we want to have on the survey. And then through the group, I can glean off those questions and we'll put it together and go from there.
Okay. So anything else, or are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, nice chatting, communicating with everybody.
Yeah. I wish I could see everybody.
Yeah, right.
The irony.
So, yeah. All right. So I guess hopefully you'll hear from somebody after July 15th with the next month's meeting. Right. With that. So.
And then we'll go back out.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Thanks.